The starship Aurora drifted silently above the misty surface of the planet called Lyria 9. Its sleek silver hull glinted against the soft green light that the twin suns cast on the clouds below. From orbit, the planet looked peaceful, almost inviting, but the crew knew better. Every unexplored world held unknown dangers, and Lyria 9 was no exception. Dr. Elias Kaur, the lead xenobiologist, leaned against the observation window, his eyes fixed on the shifting patterns of light on the surface. "It's beautiful," he whispered, more to himself than to anyone else. "Look at that. Forests that glow, rivers that shimmer in purple and blue." Beside him, Lieutenant Mara Vance checked the ship's instruments. "Sensors are picking up something unusual. Life readings are off the charts. It's not just plants. There's intelligence down there." "Something alive." Her voice was calm, but a spark of excitement lingered at the edges. Elias felt a shiver of anticipation. They had been searching for signs of intelligent life for years, and now, for the first time, it seemed they had found it. But this was not Earth. These beings were entirely unknown, and no one could predict how they would react to humans. The ship's landing pod descended slowly through the thick green mist. Below, the planet's surface looked almost dreamlike. Trees towered high above, their leaves glowing faintly, as if they absorbed the twin suns' light and refracted it in colors humans had never seen. Strange floating plants drifted in the air, carried by gentle currents. The river snaked across the valley, glowing a soft lavender, its waters moving with a gentle rhythm. As the pod touched down, Elias felt a surge of nervous excitement. He grabbed his field pack and motioned to Mara. "Let's make first contact carefully. We don't know what they might think." The pod doors hissed open, revealing the planet in all its alien beauty. The air was warm and smelled faintly sweet, like honey mixed with wet earth. Elias inhaled deeply. "Breathable," he said. "Good sign." They stepped out onto soft, moss-like ground that glowed faintly under their boots. Around them, the glowing plants swayed gently, though there was no wind. The forest was alive, and not just with plants. Strange shapes moved between the trees, watching them. Elias could feel eyes on him, but nothing stepped forward. Then they saw her. A small figure emerged from the mist, a girl no taller than a human child, with skin that shimmered faintly in greens and blues. Her eyes were wide, luminous, and filled with curiosity and fear. She trembled slightly, stepping cautiously out of the mist. She had long, flowing hair that seemed to float around her, moving as if it had a life of its own. Lyra, the trembling alien girl, stopped when she noticed the humans. She had never seen beings like them before. Their bodies were strange, rigid, solid, moving with confidence that she had never experienced. And yet something about them, something in their minds, drew her attention. Elias took a cautious step forward. "Hello," he said, his voice soft and calm. "We mean no harm. My name is Dr. Elias Kaur. We come in peace." Lyra tilted her head, her large eyes studying him. She did not speak, but Elias noticed a faint pulse of light moving across her skin, like a signal. Then suddenly, he felt it, not physically, but in his mind, a strange whisper, not in words, but in feelings and images, fear, curiosity, hesitation. Elias staggered slightly, gripping the edge of his pack. What is this?" he murmured. Mara touched his shoulder, steadying him. "It's her mind," she said softly. "She's communicating." Lyra's trembling grew stronger. Her hands shook at her sides, and a faint glow spread from her chest across her body. Elias realized that she was trying to reach him, to show him her thoughts directly. It was not dangerous yet, but it was overwhelming. He closed his eyes and let himself focus. Slowly, he began to understand. She was showing him the world as she saw it. The soft, luminescent plants, the flowing rivers, the floating seeds drifting in the air. She was showing him the life of her people, the rhythm of the planet, and most of all, her fear of these strange newcomers. Elias opened his eyes and spoke softly. "We are not here to hurt you, Lyra. We want to learn, to understand." The alien girl's glow flickered. She shivered again, trembling not from cold, but from the intensity of sharing her mind with another species. Yet she sensed the truth in his words. Slowly she stepped closer, her fear tempered by curiosity. Mara adjusted her portable translator device, though it was unclear if it would help. Lyra's thoughts were not words. They were emotions, images, and sensations. The humans could only try to interpret them. But that alone was enough. They could feel her fear, her wonder, and her longing for connection. "Can we understand each other?" Elias asked aloud, though he knew she could not respond in words. A pulse of light ran through her chest. And then a wave of images washed over him, memories of a sunlit meadow, of playing with other alien children, of feeling the currents of the planet flowing through her people. And finally, a question. "Who are you?" Elias nodded. "I am Elias. This is Mara. We come from a planet far from here. We want to know your world, to meet your people, to share knowledge." Lyra's glow dimmed slightly, her trembling slowing. She could sense that they were sincere. Slowly, she extended a small hand, palm up, in a gesture of trust. Elias knelt and placed his hand gently against hers. It was the first contact, not just of touch, but of minds. A bridge had been formed between species. Then, a sound came from the forest. A low, resonant hum, almost musical. The trees around them pulsed gently, as if reacting to their contact. Lyra's eyes widened. She whispered something, though Elias could not hear it in words. Instead, he felt it in his mind. "They have come. Others will come. Be ready." Elias stood slowly, his heart racing. "Others?" he asked. Lyra nodded, though she trembled once more. She seemed smaller now, almost fragile, yet there was strength in her fear. She could sense the humans' courage, their curiosity, and their willingness to connect. Somehow, that made her feel safer. The humans and the alien girl moved cautiously through the misty forest, Lyra guiding them toward her village. Every step revealed new wonders, glowing fungi that hovered in midair, plants that seemed to hum softly, and rivers that sparkled with colors that no human had names for. Along the way, Elias observed Lyra closely. Despite her small size and trembling frame, there was intelligence in every movement. She seemed attuned to the planet in ways humans could only imagine, and in turn, she studied the humans, trying to understand their strange bodies and even stranger minds. By the time they reached the outskirts of the alien settlement, Elias realized something profound. This was not just first contact. It was the beginning of a bond that could change the future of both species. Humans had found not only life, but intelligence, emotion, and connection on a world far from home. And Lyra, the trembling alien girl, had opened herself to the unknown, trusting them in a way no one had before. The village lay nestled in a valley of glowing trees. Small structures, organic and flowing in shape, blended seamlessly with the landscape. Other beings, slightly taller than Lyra, with the same shimmering skin, watched from the shadows. Some were cautious, some curious, but all sensed the unusual presence of humans. Lyra led them to a small platform at the center of the village. "You must wait here," she thought to Elias. Though he could not hear her words, the connection allowed him to feel her meaning. The elders of her people would decide if the humans could stay. Elias knelt beside her again. "We will respect your people," he said gently. "We only want to learn." Lyra's glow pulsed softly, a sign of approval, though tinged with apprehension. Trembling slightly, she turned toward the trees, her mind preparing to share the presence of the humans with her elders. For her and for them, this was the moment where two worlds truly began to meet. And as the mist shifted around them, the first rays of the twin suns broke through, casting a gentle light on the humans and the trembling alien girl. On this distant planet, a new story was beginning, one of curiosity, courage, and a bond that could bridge the vast gulf between stars. The sun's twin rays filtered softly through the glowing canopy as the humans waited in the center of Lyra's village. The mist had begun to lift, revealing the strange, luminous structures of the alien settlement. Elias and Mara stood quietly, aware that every movement they made was being watched. The villagers had gathered, small groups peering from behind organic walls and floating platforms, their shimmering skin reflecting the soft light. Lyra trembled slightly beside Elias. Her pulse of light flickered nervously, signaling her own anxiety. Though she had guided the humans here, introducing them to her elders would test her courage like never before. She could sense the humans' minds, curious, cautious, and eager. But she also knew that her people would not allow strangers to enter their world without thorough scrutiny. From the shadows, 3 elders approached. They were taller than Lyra, their skin glowing with a rhythm that seemed almost like heartbeat patterns. Their eyes were large, luminous, and filled with intelligence that surpassed anything Elias had ever seen. The tallest of them stepped forward, speaking, not in words, but through a pulse of thought that Elias could feel more than hear. "Who are you?" the elder asked. "Why have you come to our home?" Elias felt the question echo in his mind. He swallowed and reached out slowly, placing a hand over his chest. "We come in peace," he thought. "We are explorers from a distant planet. We want to understand your world and share knowledge." The elder's glow pulsed, slower this time, as if considering his words. Lyra stepped closer, her small hand resting lightly on Elias's arm. "She tells them you mean no harm," he realized, the thought forming gently in his own mind. The second elder moved forward, and Elias could sense her curiosity, sharp and bright. "How do you know we can communicate with thought?" she asked. Elias hesitated. The technology on the ship had not prepared him for direct mental connection, yet somehow, through Lyra, he felt a bridge forming. He concentrated, letting the images and emotions speak. "We are capable of learning. We are eager to understand. We respect life wherever we find it." A third elder stepped forward, silent at first, watching Lyra carefully. He extended a slender hand, and Lyra's pulse flickered in response. Elias sensed that this gesture was both a test and an invitation. Slowly, the humans raised their hands in return, and a subtle warmth spread through Elias's chest, a signal of acceptance. The elders moved back slightly, their judgment made. Lyra's glow brightened, and for the first time that morning, she allowed herself a small, relieved smile. She had guided the humans well, and they had passed the first test. "Follow me," she thought to Elias, leading him and Mara deeper into the village. The path wound through glowing trees, over small streams that shimmered in soft violet and blue hues, and past hovering plants that drifted gently in the air. Each step revealed more wonders: fungi that emitted musical notes when touched, flowers that reflected the humans' faces like mirrors, and pools of water that rippled with faint bioluminescence. Finally, they arrived at a large platform at the center of the village. A crystalline structure rose from its center, pulsing gently in rhythm with the heartbeat of the planet. Lyra gestured for Elias and Mara to sit. "This is incredible," Elias whispered. "I have never seen anything like it." Lyra's pulse flickered softly in response. She communicated slowly, carefully, sharing images of the structure's purpose. It stores memories of our people. It records thoughts, feelings, and lessons. It can share knowledge with those who are open. Elias leaned closer. "Share it with us," he said. "Please." The alien girl trembled, but then focused. Slowly, her mind began to merge with his. Not completely, but enough for Elias to receive the images and sensations she projected. Colors and shapes filled his mind, representing centuries of Lyra's people observing the world around them. He saw their history, their joys and sorrows, their games and studies, and their deep connection to the living planet. Mara gasped softly. It's like we're seeing through her eyes, feeling her memories." Elias nodded. "It's more than that. We're thinking together." Lyra's glow intensified as she guided the humans through her people's experiences. She showed them how the aliens communicated through subtle pulses of light and emotion, how they learned from the planet itself, and how every action, no matter how small, was connected to the balance of life. The humans marveled at the depth and complexity of the alien world. Hours passed like minutes. Through the shared mind link, Elias learned not just the history of Lyra's people, but their hopes and fears. He could sense their collective wonder at meeting beings from another planet, and their caution, which reminded him of the humans' own nervous curiosity. Then came the challenge. A distant rumble shook the village. The glowing trees swayed, and faint sparks of light ran along their trunks. Lyra's pulse flickered violently, and Elias felt a surge of alarm in his own chest. The elders projected images of a massive storm forming far across the valley, a storm unlike anything the humans had ever seen. Winds that could tear through structures, electric surges that could disrupt technology, and water currents that moved with strange, almost intentional force. "It comes quickly. We must prepare," Lyra thought, trembling. Elias looked at Mara. "We have to help. Maybe we can stabilize something with our technology." Lyra hesitated, fear flashing across her glowing skin. "You do not understand. This is not like your storms. It is part of the planet, part of us. Humans may survive, but if we fail, our village could be lost." Elias placed a hand on hers. "We can learn together. Show us what we must do." Taking a deep breath, Lyra focused, sending Elias images of the storm's pattern, the energy flows of the planet, and the points of weakness in their city's protective barriers. For the humans, it was overwhelming, but they adapted quickly. Mara ran calculations on her portable device, translating the alien patterns into workable strategies. Together, humans and Lyra's people began preparing. The alien structures had natural defenses, but they needed human support to reinforce them. Elias helped anchor energy stabilizers along the glowing bridges, while Mara coordinated with Lyra's people to reroute the water currents and prevent the smaller buildings from being swept away. Lyra guided every action, trembling but determined. Each pulse of light she sent to the humans conveyed more than instructions. It carried reassurance, warning, and courage. Elias marveled at her bravery. Here was a child by human standards, yet she was leading her people and guiding alien technology with a calm focus, all while connecting minds with a species from another world. As the storm approached, Elias felt a deep sense of connection, not just with Lyra, but with her entire people. The shared consciousness allowed him to anticipate their movements, understand their fears, and encourage their courage. For the first time, he truly understood what it meant to work with another species, not just side by side, but in unity of thought and purpose. The storm hit. Winds tore through the forest, lightning arced across the sky, and rain fell in shimmering sheets. But the humans and Lyra's people were ready. The energy stabilizers hummed in harmony with the planet's natural rhythm, holding structures steady. Lyra's pulses guided every step, every decision, every calculation. And through it all, Elias could feel her trembling slowly giving way to determination. By nightfall, the storm had passed, leaving the village battered but intact. The humans and the aliens gathered on the central platform, exhausted but triumphant. Lyra glowed softly, no longer trembling, as she shared her people's relief and gratitude. Elias looked at her with admiration. "You were amazing," he said. "Without you, none of us could have done this." Lyra's pulse brightened. She felt a warmth in her mind, a human response she could understand. "And without you, we would not have known courage like this," she thought. Mara smiled. "It seems humans and aliens can accomplish more together than either could alone." Lyra nodded, a small but proud gesture. Her trembling had faded. In its place was confidence born of shared experience and trust. Humans were not only visitors, they had become partners in survival and understanding. As the twin suns dipped below the horizon, the glowing village lights reflected in Elias's eyes. He realized that this was more than first contact or even cooperation. It was a merging of minds, a bond that could shape the future of both species. Humanity had proven once again that curiosity, courage, and empathy could overcome fear and forge connections beyond the stars. And Lyra, the trembling alien girl, had shown them all that courage is not the absence of fear, but the ability to act despite it. In that moment, Elias understood the truth. The universe was vast, and life was more complex than they could have imagined. Yet with trust, shared knowledge, and willingness to understand, humans could shine brightly, even among alien stars. For the first time, he felt that the universe was not so lonely after all. The village lay quiet after the storm, though the air still buzzed with tension. Twinkling lights reflected on the wet leaves, and the ground glistened under the twin suns' morning rays. The humans and Lyra's people were exhausted. But the memory of the storm reminded them that Lyria 9 was a world that demanded respect and vigilance. Elias walked alongside Lyra, observing the villagers repairing structures, reinforcing bridges, and tending to injured creatures. The humans had helped as much as they could, but Lyra's people worked with a rhythm and precision born of generations in harmony with their planet. Elias felt admiration for her species. It was clear that survival on Lyria 9 required intelligence, courage, and connection. Lyra trembled slightly as she walked. Though the storm had ended, she could sense another disturbance in the distant hills, a strange vibration that made her pulse flicker nervously. She had felt this before, as a subtle warning from the planet. She communicated the sensation to Elias through their shared mind connection. "Something is coming," she thought. "Something we must face together." Elias nodded. "We'll be ready," he replied, feeling the weight of responsibility settle on his shoulders. He was beginning to understand that exploration meant more than discovery. It meant standing alongside a species that needed his help and wisdom, even in moments of danger. By mid-morning, the elders convened a meeting. Elias and Mara were invited, not as observers, but as participants. They sat in a circle with the elders and Lyra, feeling the energy of the village flow around them. The largest elder projected images of the terrain outside, showing hills, valleys, and a series of cracks that had appeared in the ground during the storm. "The land shifts," the elder conveyed. "It is unstable. The storms were only a warning. A larger challenge approaches." Lyra's glow brightened as she added her thoughts. "The energy flows of the planet are changing. We must strengthen the protective network. We must act before it is too late." Elias studied the images. The cracks ran deep, and some emitted faint pulses of energy, almost like veins in the planet's surface. If they widened, the village could be swallowed or isolated. The humans' technology might help stabilize these flows, but they needed guidance. "We need to act quickly. Lyra projected. I can guide you, but the work is dangerous. Elias met her gaze. Dangerous doesn't scare us. We've faced storms and we've survived. We'll help you protect your home. Mara added, We'll combine our knowledge with yours. Together we can manage this. The elders nodded in approval. Though they did not speak in words, their approval was clear. They had never worked so closely with another species before. Elias felt the significance of the moment. Humanity was not just visiting, humans were becoming part of the solution. Lyra led them to a network of platforms and energy conduits. These structures glowed faintly, humming with energy that seemed alive. She showed Elias where the flows were weakest and where human intervention could make the most difference. Place the stabilizers here, she communicated. Adjust the frequencies to match the pulses of the planet. Move quickly and work with me. Elias and Mara worked together, setting up the devices, adjusting dials, and monitoring readings. Every adjustment required careful attention. The wrong frequency could worsen the instability. Yet, with Lyra's guidance and the mental connection she provided, they could anticipate the planet's responses almost before they happened. Hours passed. Sweat ran down Elias's face, and Mara's hands ached from fine adjustments. Lyra's glow flickered with her own fear and determination. She trembled at times, sensing the strain of controlling the energy network and protecting her people. But she pressed on, sharing her courage with the humans through the bond they had formed. Then came the tremor. The ground shook violently, knocking Elias and Mara off balance. Cracks widened, and pulses of energy shot upward, scattering debris. Lyra cried out, not in words but in feelings that jolted through Elias's mind. The flow is breaking! Elias steadied himself, grabbing a stabilizer as Mara called out corrections. Increase the frequency! Match it to the pulse of the northern conduit! Lyra focused all her energy on guiding them. She projected the rhythm of the planet, images of its energy veins, and the sensations of movement in the ground. Elias felt his own fear, but he drew strength from her resolve. They were working together, not just as humans and aliens, but as partners in a shared purpose. The tremor passed, leaving the platforms swaying but intact. The humans and Lyra's people exchanged a moment of silent relief. But they knew it was not over. Another wave is coming, Lyra projected. Stronger, faster. Elias looked toward the hills, sensing the shift in the atmosphere. The humans prepared additional stabilizers, and the villagers readied their defenses. Lyra guided every step, transmitting energy patterns, flow adjustments, and subtle warnings. Every pulse of her mind brought clarity to the humans' actions. Then came the challenge. A massive surge of energy erupted from a nearby fissure. Light arced across the ground, and a wave of kinetic force rolled toward the village. Elias grabbed Mara's arm. We have to move! Now! Lyra extended her hands, focusing her own energy. Through their connection, Elias felt a surge of power, almost like standing inside a living conductor. Together, human technology and Lyra's psychic guidance deflected the surge, channeling it safely into the planet's natural energy conduits. The force passed, leaving cracks in the ground, but sparing the village. Mara gasped. We did it! We actually did it! Elias nodded, though his chest ached from the tension. We couldn't have without her. She guided us every step of the way. Lyra trembled slightly, but smiled faintly. Her people cheered in pulses of light and emotion, their gratitude radiating through the village. The humans felt it as well, a deep sense of accomplishment and connection. The elders approached, their glow slow and deliberate. They projected an image of the village, stabilized and standing. Though battered, it remained intact. One elder extended a hand toward Elias and Mara, a gesture of respect and recognition. You have shown courage and wisdom, the elder communicated. You are no longer outsiders. You are allies of our people. Elias felt warmth spread through his chest. He realized that this was not just survival, it was trust. Humanity had earned it, not through strength or weapons, but through intelligence, courage, and empathy. Lyra's glow brightened as she stood beside him. "We are stronger together," she thought. "Your courage gives us hope." The day faded into evening, and the twin suns cast long shadows across the glowing village. Elias walked with Lyra to a small overlook, watching as the villagers repaired structures and tended to their glowing plants. "You were incredible today," Elias said softly. "You led your people through something terrifying, and you never gave up." Lyra trembled, but this time it was from pride rather than fear. "You helped me too," she communicated. "Without your guidance, we would have struggled alone." Mara joined them, carrying a small recorder to document the events. "We've learned so much," she said. "Not just about your planet, but about working with you. Humans have strengths we could never use alone." Lyra nodded, understanding their words through the shared mind connection. She realized that humanity's courage was different from her own species' quiet resilience. Humans faced danger head-on, relied on curiosity, and used intelligence to adapt. And now, those strengths were part of her people's survival. As night fell, the village glowed under the twin moon's reflection. Crystals in the buildings shimmered like stars, and small creatures moved quietly among the glowing trees. Lyra's pulse of light flickered softly in the night air, a signal of calm after the storm. Elias looked at her with admiration. "You're more than just a guide or a bridge between worlds. You're a leader, Lyra. Today you showed courage that even we humans would struggle to match." Lyra's glow pulsed gently. "And you? You are more than visitors. You are friends and partners. Together, we can face what comes next." Mara smiled. "Tomorrow, we learn even more. There's so much potential here. If we combine human technology with your understanding of this planet, we might be able to prevent disasters before they start." Lyra shivered slightly, but this time it was excitement rather than fear. "We can do it. Together." Elias placed a hand on her shoulder. "Whatever comes next, we'll face it. Humans don't give up, and now neither will your people. We've shown that together, nothing is impossible." The village settled into quiet rhythm for the night. Humans and aliens rested side by side, connected in thought, heart, and purpose. For the first time, Elias realized that humanity's greatest strength was not in technology or weapons, but in courage, curiosity, and the willingness to stand beside another species, even in the face of unimaginable danger. And Lyra, the trembling alien girl, had grown into a leader in a single day, her trembling replaced by determination, her fear replaced by courage, and her connection with the humans stronger than ever. Above the glowing village, the twin moons rose fully, casting a calm silver light. Tomorrow, the challenges would be greater, but today, they had survived together. Today, humans and Lyra's people had learned the meaning of shared courage, and in that shared courage lay the first true spark of hope for a new future, one where two species could work as one, across worlds and across stars. The days after the storm were filled with careful work, learning, and exploration. The humans had proven their courage and adaptability, earning the trust of Lyra's people. Now, both species began to discover new possibilities, things that neither humans nor Lyra's people had imagined before. Elias woke early, feeling a sense of anticipation in the cool morning air. The twin suns had not yet risen, but the bioluminescent plants of the village cast a soft glow over the ground. He looked at Lyra, who was already awake, her pulse of light flickering gently, as if welcoming the new day. "Good morning," Elias said softly. "Are you ready for today?" Lyra trembled slightly but nodded. Yes. Today, we learn more together. Mara joined them, carrying a portable scanner and a small notebook. The energy flows are stabilizing, she said. But I think we can do more. If we synchronize human technology with your psychic guidance, we might be able to anticipate changes in the planet before they happen. Lyra's glow brightened. Show us. Teach us how. They walked together to the central platform, where the crystalline structure of Lyra's village hummed gently. Lyra extended her hands, and a subtle wave of energy spread across the village. The humans felt it in their minds, a sense of rhythm, pulse, and connection. It was as if the entire planet was alive, breathing in time with her people. Elias watched in awe. It's beautiful. It's like the planet itself is thinking. Lyra projected a vision into his mind. Patterns of energy flowing beneath the surface, connecting the trees, the streams, and even the buildings. The humans could see the currents of power, like rivers of light beneath the soil. With this vision, they began to understand that the planet was not just alive. It was intelligent in its own way. Mara began mapping the energy flows with her devices, translating them into human-readable patterns. If we can predict the movements, she said, we can prevent disasters before they occur. We can strengthen the village and protect the people. Lyra trembled as she shared her mind further. It is possible, she projected. We can work together. Humans can see what we cannot. You can sense patterns, predict dangers, and act quickly. Elias realized the truth of her words. Humanity's strength lay in adaptability, in using intelligence and observation to solve problems. Lyra's people had lived in harmony with the planet for generations, but humans added a new dimension: analysis, prediction, and innovation. Together, they could accomplish what neither species could alone. As they worked, Elias noticed changes in Lyra. Her trembling had almost disappeared. She moved with purpose, her pulse steady, her confidence growing. And yet, a new power seemed to be awakening within her. Every time she shared her mind, the glow of her body intensified, and the humans could feel a warmth and energy flowing through their own thoughts. She is evolving, Elias realized. Her bond with us is changing her, and us as well. By midday, they had connected multiple parts of the village's energy network to human technology. Sensors, stabilizers, and predictive devices worked alongside Lyra's psychic guidance. The village hummed with coordinated energy, and the humans could anticipate subtle shifts in the planet before they happened. Then came the first test. A small tremor shook the village. Not dangerous, but noticeable. The humans checked their instruments and saw a surge of energy rising from a distant fissure. Lyra projected the flow to Elias and Mara, showing them how it moved and how it might affect the village. "Adjust the stabilizers here," Elias said, pointing to a junction of energy conduits. "Mara, recalibrate the frequency to match the surge. Lyra, guide us with the rhythm." The three of them worked as one. Lyra's pulse illuminated the space around them, guiding their hands and minds. The energy flowed smoothly, the surge dissipating before it could reach the village. The humans and Lyra smiled at each other, feeling a profound sense of accomplishment. "We can do this together," Lyra projected. "We are stronger than I ever imagined." But the transformation was not just practical, it was emotional. The humans could feel the empathy and curiosity of Lyra's people more deeply than before. The bond allowed them to sense subtle moods, intentions, and even unspoken questions. And in turn, Lyra could feel human determination, creativity, and courage. Each mind added something unique to the collective awareness. Elias realized that this connection was more than guidance. It was learning. Humans were learning to sense the world as Lyra did, while Lyra's people were learning to think in new ways, using prediction and problem-solving techniques that humans excelled at. By evening, the village gathered in a central area. Lyra led them through a demonstration of the combined abilities. She focused on the energy flow beneath the village, guiding humans and aliens alike to strengthen weak points and anticipate minor shifts. Every adjustment was met with a pulse of approval, a sign of progress. Elias stood back, marveling. "We've changed the way we interact with this world," he said to Mara. "And Lyra has changed too. She's growing stronger, more confident. She's becoming a true leader." Lyra sensed his admiration and projected warmth back to him. "And you are teaching me to see possibilities beyond my fears." Suddenly, a new challenge appeared. A fissure in the distance emitted a bright pulse of energy. The humans' instruments detected an unusual pattern. It was not random but deliberate, as if the planet itself were testing their abilities. "It is a trial," Lyra projected. "We must respond carefully." Elias nodded. "We can handle it." Together. They approached the fissure, coordinating with Lyra's guidance. The energy pulsed in waves, and the humans adjusted their devices while Lyra projected the rhythm of the flow. Each step required trust, precision, and courage. They worked as one, humans and aliens, bridging technology and psychic guidance. Hours passed, and the fissure's pulses began to stabilize. Lyra's glow intensified with every successful adjustment. Elias could feel the exhilaration of accomplishment, the thrill of mastering something that had seemed impossible. Finally, the fissure's energy harmonized with the village network. The humans stepped back, breathing heavily but filled with pride. Lyra trembled at first, then smiled faintly. Her people's glow radiated across the village, a sign of approval and shared joy. "We have done it," Lyra projected. "Together, we are more than we were before." Elias felt a deep sense of satisfaction. Humanity had proven once again that courage, intelligence, and empathy could overcome challenges even in worlds that were completely alien. And Lyra had transformed, her trembling replaced by confidence, her fear replaced by courage, and her bond with the humans stronger than ever. That night, Elias and Mara sat with Lyra under the glowing canopy. Small creatures wandered among the trees, their movements gentle and curious. The village glowed softly, reflecting the harmony of life and energy. "Lyra," Elias said softly, "you've changed today. You've grown stronger, braver, and more powerful. And not just physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. You're teaching us as much as we're teaching you." Lyra's pulse flickered in response. "And you are teaching me that courage and curiosity can change everything. That fear does not have to control us." Mara smiled. "We've created something new here, humans and aliens working together, learning together, sharing thoughts, fears, hopes, and plans. This is the future." Lyra trembled slightly, but with a new kind of excitement. "Yes, we are stronger together, and this is only the beginning." The twin moons rose high above the village, casting silver light across the glowing platforms. Elias felt the bond in a new way. The connection with Lyra was no longer fragile. It was powerful, intuitive, and inspiring. Together they could sense the flows of energy, predict shifts, and respond with precision. Humanity had not only survived on this world, they had grown just as Lyra had grown. And together they had transformed the village into a model of cooperation and innovation. Elias realized the significance. Humans were not just explorers, they were catalysts. Their courage, creativity, and willingness to connect had inspired transformation in a species that had never imagined such possibilities. And Lyra, once trembling and uncertain, had become a symbol of that transformation. "Tomorrow will bring new challenges," she projected, "but we will face them together." Elias nodded, smiling. "Yes, whatever comes, we'll face it, together." And as the stars shimmered above Lyria 9, the humans and Lyra's people rested in harmony. Their minds were connected, their hearts aligned, and their courage united. A new chapter was beginning, one of shared knowledge, transformation, and hope. For the first time, Elias understood that this was more than survival. It was evolution, not just of species, but of connection. Humans had brought courage, creativity, and empathy. Lyra and her people had brought insight, harmony, and wisdom. And together, they had created something far greater than either could have imagined alone. And in that unity, the universe seemed a little brighter. The morning air on Lyria 9 was crisp, carrying the faint scent of glowing flowers and wet moss. The twin suns rose slowly over the horizon, casting soft light on the village. Humans and aliens alike moved carefully through the streets, their eyes scanning the surroundings. After days of storms, surges, and trials, the village had survived, but the planet still held challenges. Elias stepped onto the central platform, looking out across the glowing valley. His gaze swept over the network of energy conduits, stabilized buildings, and the aliens working alongside humans. Lyra stood beside him, her pulse of light bright and steady. She no longer trembled. Her confidence radiated in soft waves that Elias could feel even without their direct mental connection. "Today is important," she projected. "We must strengthen not only the village, but the trust between our species. Something is coming, and we must be ready." Elias nodded. "Whatever it is, we'll face it together. We've come too far to turn back now." Mara joined them, carrying her portable scanner and notebook. "We've collected data from the storm, the fissures, and the energy network. We can use it to predict future disturbances. If we synchronize our technology with Lyra's guidance, we can protect more than just this village. We can protect the entire region." Lyra's glow pulsed with excitement. "Yes, we can create a network of protection. Humans add speed and prediction. We add understanding and rhythm. Together, we can manage this planet's energy." They began their work immediately. Humans and aliens moved side by side, adjusting devices, reinforcing conduits, and mapping energy flows. The humans learned to feel the rhythm of the planet through Lyra's guidance, while her people began to understand human approaches to problem-solving and prediction. Every correction, every adjustment strengthened not just the village, but the bond between species. As the sun climbed higher, a subtle vibration ran through the ground. It was different from the storm or the fissures, a deep resonance, almost like a heartbeat. Lyra's pulse flickered nervously. "It is testing us," she projected. "The planet itself. It wants to see if we are ready." Elias felt the vibration through his feet and chest. "A test? From the planet?" he asked aloud. "Yes," Lyra communicated. "We are part of it now. The planet's energy flows are aware of our actions. If we fail, there will be consequences." The humans and aliens paused for a moment, letting the realization settle in. They were not only defending their homes, they were proving themselves as allies of this living world. Elias felt a surge of determination. Humanity had faced the unknown before, and they would do so again, guided by courage, curiosity, and empathy. The first challenge appeared as a flash of light from a distant fissure. Energy pulsed outward in waves, more powerful than anything they had seen. Trees swayed violently, and small tremors shook the platforms. Lyra extended her hands, sending a wave of mental guidance to Elias and Mara. "Focus. Follow the rhythm. Adjust quickly. Trust each other," she projected. Elias and Mara worked together, adjusting stabilizers and sensors. Every movement had to be precise, every calculation timed perfectly. The alien villagers mirrored their actions, using Lyra's guidance to shift energy flows, anchor buildings, and protect the environment. The waves of energy surged again, testing their coordination. Humans adapted quickly, predicting patterns based on Mara's instruments. Lyra's people responded with rhythm and instinct. And Lyra herself focused all her energy, her pulse illuminating the area with brilliant light. She projected calm, courage, and determination to every mind connected to hers. Hours passed. Sweat dripped from Elias's brow, and Mara's hands shook from strain, but the humans did not stop. Lyra trembled briefly, overwhelmed by the intensity of guiding so many minds, yet she held on. Together, they controlled the surges, directing energy safely into conduits and stabilizers. By late afternoon, the energy flows had harmonized. The fisher's pulses subsided, leaving only a gentle hum beneath the village. The humans and aliens paused, breathing heavily, but filled with exhilaration. They had faced the planet's test and emerged victorious. "We have done it," Lyra projected, her glow steady. "We have proven ourselves worthy." The elders approached the humans, their luminous forms radiating approval. "You have shown courage, intelligence, and empathy," one elder projected. "You are no longer outsiders. You are allies. You are part of our world now." Elias felt warmth spread through his chest. "Thank you," he said softly. "We are honored, and we will continue to learn from you and protect this world with all we can." Lyra trembled slightly, but this time with pride rather than fear. "And we will continue to learn from you. Together, we are stronger than we ever imagined." The humans and Lyra's people spent the evening reinforcing structures, mapping energy flows, and celebrating their success. The village glowed brighter than ever, a symbol of unity and cooperation. Small creatures moved freely among the trees, and the air was filled with a gentle hum of life and energy. As night fell, Elias and Mara walked with Lyra to the edge of a cliff overlooking the valley. The twin moons cast silver light over the glowing village below. The view was breathtaking. "You've come so far," Elias said, his voice filled with admiration. "You led your people through storms, energy surges, and tests from the planet itself. You've grown into a true leader." Lyra's pulse glowed softly. "And you have shown me courage, wisdom, and patience. You have taught me that fear does not define us. Actions do." Mara added, "Humans and Lyra's people have proven that cooperation can overcome even the most difficult challenges. We can share knowledge, skills, and courage to protect this world and grow together." Lyra trembled slightly but smiled. "Yes, together we are more than the sum of our parts. This is only the beginning. We can do more, learn more, and grow stronger." Elias looked out across the valley, realizing the truth of her words. Humanity's greatest strength was not technology, strength, or weapons. It was courage, creativity, empathy, and the willingness to connect. On this distant world, they had proven it in the most extraordinary way. The humans had not only survived, they had inspired transformation. Lyra, once trembling and uncertain, had become a leader of her people. Her confidence, her guidance, and her bond with the humans had created a new harmony between species. The night grew quiet, but the glow of the village remained bright. Elias felt the connection in a new way. It was not just shared knowledge or guidance, but trust, respect, and unity. The humans were not alone, and Lyra's people were not alone. Together, they could face any challenge the universe might send. Lyra projected a final thought to Elias. "We will continue to grow, to learn, and to protect. We are stronger together. The future is brighter because of our bond." Elias smiled. "Yes, together we will face whatever comes next, and humanity will always reach for understanding, courage, and hope." Mara stood beside them, looking out over the glowing valley. "We've learned something important here," she said. "The universe is vast, but connection makes it smaller. Understanding makes it safer. Courage makes it brighter. Humanity can thrive anywhere, not just through strength, but through empathy and collaboration. Lyra trembled softly, then stood tall. She extended her hands to the humans, a gesture of unity. Elias and Mara mirrored her, feeling the warmth of the bond extend through them. "We are ready," she projected. "The world is ours to protect, together." And as the twin moons shone brightly above, the humans and Lyra's people stood united, looking toward a horizon filled with possibilities. They had faced storms, surges, and tests from the planet itself. They had learned to trust each other, to share knowledge, and to grow together. The village glowed brighter than ever, a beacon of hope, courage, and cooperation. The humans had proven their worth, not just through technology or skill, but through their uniquely human qualities: bravery, curiosity, empathy, and the determination to connect. Lyra had proven that courage could overcome fear, that trust could unite species, and that transformation was possible through cooperation. Elias realized that this was more than survival. It was a new beginning. Humans and Lyra's people had forged a bond that would shape the future, not just for this village or this planet, but for every world they might encounter. And in that bond lay the essence of what it meant to be human: to reach out, to connect, to learn, to face fear, and to inspire hope across the stars. As dawn broke over the glowing valley, Elias, Mara, and Lyra stood together, their hands joined in unity. The planet seemed to hum with approval, the energy flows steady, and the village alive with life and light. A new dawn had arrived, not just for the humans, not just for Lyra's people, but for the beginning of a shared future among worlds. The universe was vast, but together they were ready. And for the first time, Elias felt completely certain. Humanity's courage, ingenuity, and empathy could shine brighter than any star, even in the unknown reaches of space.